Namaste to everyone. Today we are going to have an important discussion on Lord Sri Venkateswara's years. For the present discussion on years of Lord Venkateswara, I have taken the references from Puranas, Vedas and Itihasas and also Tamil Alvar's verses. I have deeply analyzed these texts to bring it to you to inform about the sacredness of the Lord Sri Venkateswara's years. I hope you will enjoy this lecture. The lecture will explore the significance of Lord Sri Venkateswara's years in these sacred texts and hymns, focusing on how they symbolize divine listening, compassion, and the merciful nature of the Lord. We will delve into the Vedic, Puranas, and Itihasas and Alvars based references, understanding how his years embody his compassionate nature, always open to the cries of his devotees. The symbolism of ears, instrument of divine hearing in Hinduism and Vedic traditions, observed from Vedic reference, that is in Rigveda 1.24.14. Agnihim vancha srushtim srihi cha mam srutim yacha shruyantam. In translation, the verse says, O Agni, may your ears protect us and listen to our prayers. See how beautifully in Vedic tradition the ear is linked to the Shruti, signifying the importance of hearing divine revelations. If you interpret the verse, it says, Lord Venkateswara's ears are considered to be one of the most compassionate features of his form. His ability to hear and understand the cries of his devotees is frequently emphasized in devotional literature. See, in-depth analysis of the verse, it says about the God's ears' importance, how the cries of devotees Lord hears. Now let us look into the references from Puranas, what it says about God hears. In Vishnu Purana, Book 1, Chapter 5, speaks about how Lord Vishnu listens attentively to the calls of the universe and is ever present to protect and guide to the devotees. In Vishnu Purana 1.5.17, it mentions Vishnurvada Bhagava Sarvir Bhakta Purvakam Srunoti Ruchiram Dhiro Paramcha Saranagatam. In translation, the verse says, Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Being, listens attentively to the prayers of his devotees and gives them protection, responding to their surrender with compassion. This verse highlights how Lord Sri Venkateswara, or also called as Vishnu, listens to the cries of the devotees, symbolizing the significance of divine ears. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Vishnu is depicted as having ears that are not only physical but symbolic of his eternal listening to the devotions of the followers. In the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, the verse 7.10.19, it mentions Sunvanti bhaktaha sukritinam bhakshanti pancha samudranam. In translation, the verse says, He who listens to the calls of his devotees is ever present, with his ears open, ready to shower mercy. This is the beauty of this verse, how Lord Sri Venkateswara's ears always open to hear the devotees. The devotees listen with devotion to the divine narration, and through these ears, the mercy of the Lord reaches them. These ears are open to hearing the sincere prayers of those who are worthy of his grace. This verse emphasizes the divine nature of the ears of Lord Vishnu, that is Sri Venkateswara, which are also ready to hear the prayers and petitions of his devotees and followers. Lord Venkateswara is seen this light as always having his ears attuned to the prayers of his devotees, particularly those who seek his divine grace with a sincere heart. Now let us look into the Ramayana, what it says about God ears. In Ramayana, the divine ear of Vishnu is mentioned as a symbol of his protection and vigilance over the world. In Valmiki Ramayana, Uddakanda 6.2 describes how Vishnu's ears are like the sentinels of the universe, always alert and ready to listen to the troubles of the earth. Ramaha Sriri Rachasanamananinam Sri Bhavanam Sri Nisyama Srunvanam. The meaning of this verse is, with ears that listens to the cries of the earth, Lord Vishnu remains ever vigilant. In translation, the verse says, Lord Vishnu's ears are ever vigilant and attentive. Listen to the cries of the sufferings, beings and the call for help from the world. In analyzing the verse, it says, this verse speaks of Lord Vishnu, who is also called as Lord Venkateswara, as having ears that are aware of sufferings in the world and respond to the needs of his devotees. With ears that listens to the cries of the earth, Lord Vishnu remains ever vigilant. Let us look into the Bhagavad Gita, what it says about God's ears. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks about the importance of hearing the divine teachings. The ears are central to the process of spiritual enlightenment. Bhagavad Gita 17.23 speaks about how the sound of sacred mantras, when heard with the devotion, leads to liberation. In Bhagavad Gita 17.23, it reads, Om Tat Chatiti Nidbarbho Brahmanasri Vido Mantraha Maneshat Chaksharam Brahmam Yayaha Srenapi Chagachatihi. In translation, the verse says, in the hearing of the sacred sound and the chanting of the divine name, the devotee attains purity. By analyzing this verse, it says, the sound of Om is the essence of the divine. It is a representation of the sacred truth. In hearing the sacred sound and chanting the divine name, the devotee becomes purified and attains liberation. See the importance of the Om. By chanting the divine name of Om, the devotee becomes purified and attains liberation. See how greatly in this verse about Lord Venkateswara's ear has been described. Now let us look into the Tamil Alvars, what they have said in their verses. The Tamil Alvars were Tamil saints who composed devotional hymns expressing their love and surrender to Lord Vishnu. These hymns, called Nalayara Divya Prabandhams, often highlights the Lord Vishnu's attributes, including his ability to listen to the prayers of his devotees. Now let us look into the Andal's reference, what she said about Lord Venkateswara. Andal, one of the most important Alvars, in her famous Tirupavai hymns, describes the intimate connection between the devotees' prayer and Lord Vishnu's ability to hear and respond. She invokes Lord Vishnu in a way that emphasizing his ears as open to the cries of his devotees. In her verse, Tirupavai, verse 1, it mentions,
கூடரை வேலும் ஸ்ரீவரமும் வைத்தும் தூடரை வியந்த திவ்ய பிரபந்தமும் காணைக்கும் கவி வரத்தரையர்ந்தே ஸ்ரீ வெங்கடாச்சல பெருமான் துணை.
The meaning of this verse is, O Lord Venkateswara, whose ears are ever open to our calls, please listen to our supplications. Andal's invocation shows that the ears of Lord Vishnu and specifically of Lord Venkateswara symbolize the divine capacity to hear every prayer, irrespective of its magnitude or complexity. See the beautifully she has praised Lord Venkateswara's ears, irrespective of its magnitude and complexity. The verse clearly says that it doesn't matter whether you are rich or poor, whatever caste or whatever creed you belong, Lord Sri Venkateswara's hear the cries of the devotees. In another verse, Nammalvar in his Thiruvatturam describes the ears of the Lord as ultimate organ through which devotees' prayers and sorrows are acknowledged. The verse 5 mentions like this:
திருவடியார் திருவாயிற் பாடும் அருகிராயர் பாயிரம் பிலங்கனி ஆராயிரா நாள்வாளரையே ஆழ்வர் திருவாயிற் நாட்டுவற்று.
The meaning of this verse is, with ears that listen to the heartfelt cries of those in sorrow, the Lord Venkateswara showers grace and protect. See the beauty of ears of Lord Venkateswara. With ears that listens to the heartfelt cries of those in sorrow, the Lord Venkateswara showers grace and protects. Is really an amazing verse by the Alvars in praise of the Lord Venkateswara's ears. Here, the focus is on Lord Venkateswara's ears, which not only hear but also capable of responding with mercy, symbolizing his role as a protector and savior. In another verse, Periyalvar has mentioned that Lord Vishnu as the portals through which the divine energy flows to the world. In his verse, he mentions,
அழகிய மணவாளன் வடிவாளன் போனாலாலி வழிவாழ வீட்டு அவதான வலையாளி.
The meaning of this verse is, Lord Venkateswara's ears are the gateways of mercy through which all who call out in devotion will find their solace. This hymn is rich in devotion and divine love, highlights Lord Venkateswara's boundless grace and his compassionate nature as a listener to his devotees' prayers. Andal in Tirupavai emphasizes the Lord's ears as ever open, ready to hear and fulfill heartfelt supplications. Nammalvar in the Tiruvittam portrays the Lord's ears as a conduit of mercy, symbolizing his empathy and willingness to alleviate the sorrows of the faithfulness. Periyalvar hymns describes divine ears as a gateway through which the Lord receives and responds to the cries of his devotees, offering solace and protection. Collectively, these verses celebrate Lord Venkateswara's divine attentiveness, reassuring devotees his omnipresence and readiness to grant grace. They embody the deep spiritual connection between the Lord and his devotees, affirming that every prayer, whether spoken or silent, reaches his ears and receives his merciful response. See the greatness of Lord Venkateswara's ears. Now, let us briefly interpret the meaning, spiritual significance of Lord Venkateswara's ears. Lord Venkateswara's ears, as depicted in the scriptures, symbolize his deep empathy and attentiveness to the sufferings of his devotees. The ears are metaphorically seen as channels through which divine mercy and protection flow. In spiritual terms, the act of hearing is equated with the divine presence, and the ears of the deity stands as an eternal reminder of his attentive nature and grace. We can say Lord Venkateswara's ears as a source of liberation also. According to the scriptures, the ears of Lord Venkateswara are not only merely physical but symbolic of the ear to the Shruti, the sound that reveals divine knowledge. Devotees who listen to the divine teachings with an open heart are said to attain liberation. That is the beauty of the source of liberation of Lord Venkateswara's ears. The devotional practice of Venkateswara's ears, how it acts. Let us observe how the role of the ears of Lord Venkateswara in devotional practice it helps. The act of singing the praise of Lord, hearing the divine scriptures, or chanting his name all connect to the ears of Lord Venkateswara. They are not just a passive feature but an active medium through which grace is received. Before concluding, let us summarize the previous discussions which we have made from Vedas, Puranas and Itihasas and Alvar verses. Lord Venkateswara's ears are symbolic of his infinite compassion and readiness to listen to his devotees. Devotional texts often highlights that Lord Venkateswara's ears are ever open, attentively receiving the prayers, cries and heartfelt supplications of his devotees. This quality reflects his boundless mercy and accessibility, assuring devotees that no prayer goes unheard. His divine listening transcends language, culture, and emotions, connecting directly to the soul's earnest call. The Lord's responsiveness to even the faintest worshipper of devotion signifies his nurturing and protective nature, reinforcing the faith that he is always there to alleviate sufferings and grant solace. As you reflect on the significance of Lord Venkateswara's years, we are reminded that no prayer goes unheard and no devotee is ever alone in their call for help. Lord Venkateswara's ears are always open, always attentive, and always ready to offer his divine blessings. By understanding the importance of these divine ears, we also understand the nature of God as an ever present listener, guide, and protector, a companion who responds to our devotion and grace and love. In every prayer, in every hymn sung in his praise, we acknowledge his omnipresent grace, listening to us through his sacred ears, forever guiding us towards spiritual fulfillment and liberation. The ears of Lord Sri Venkateswara stands as a profound symbol of his divine attention and boundless mercy, as we have seen through various references in the Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, and the beautiful hymns of Alvars. Lord Venkateswara's ears are not just physical features but spiritual instruments that listen to the heartfelt prayers and cries of his devotees. They embody his eternal vigilance, compassion, and his unyielding presence in the lives of his followers. The act of his listening in Hindu thought is deeply connected to the act of divine grace. Just as a loving parent listens to the needs of their child, Lord Venkateswara listens with boundless compassion to the heartfelt prayers of his devotees, responding with mercy and protection. Through his ears, he hears not only our words but also the unspoken desires, the sorrows, and the devotion of the soul. The Telugu devotional song Pilichithe Palukuthavatayya is a heartfelt expression of the devotees' faith in the Lord Venkateswara's divine attentiveness and compassion. His ears are ever open to their cries, and his responses are a testament to his infinite mercy. Though scriptural references like the Garuda Purana, Bhagavad Gita, and the hymns of the Alvars, we understand that Lord is not only a listener but also the protector and benefactor, always ready to bless those who seek him with sincerity and devotion. The songs and verses in praise of Lord Sri Venkateswara conveys the belief that Lord as an embodiment of divine love and mercy listens to the sincere calls of his devotees and responds by fulfilling their desires and alleviating their sufferings. The imaginary of his ever listening ears is central to the songs and verses recited on Lord Sri Venkateswara, symbolizing his omnipresent care and unceasing willingness to guide and protect his devotees. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you have any doubts or comments, please write to my email address. I request you to forward this discussion to your friends, relatives, and group people for the understanding of the Hindu civilization and culture. We will meet in another discussion to know the importance and sacredness of Lord Venkateswara's spots. Thank you very much. Thank you.
शैलपते कमलाकुचूचुक कुङ्कुमतो